Dan and April's kitchen exudes a warm, inviting atmosphere. The room is bathed in soft, natural light, streaming through large bay windows which overlook a neatly kept garden. The kitchen itself is spacious, with sleek, modern appliances gleaming under the overhead pendant lights. The countertops are a mix of white marble and light oak, giving a rustic yet contemporary feel. In the center, there's a large kitchen island with bar stools neatly lined up, providing a casual spot for morning coffee or quick meals. The island is cluttered with half-prepped breakfast ingredients, bowls, eggs, and waffle mix, showing signs of ongoing cooking. A couple of family photos are magnetized to the stainless steel refrigerator alongside children's drawings and school notices. The scent of fresh waffles and brewing coffee lingers in the air, while Veronica bustles around the stove flipping pancakes, creating an active and lively backdrop for what's about to unfold. April walks into the living room, giving Dan a quick peck on the cheek. Vinny is seated at the dining table, flipping through his phone, while Veronica is busy at the stove, making breakfast and explaining the plan. The smell of freshly made waffles fills the room. Dylan strolls in, rubbing his eyes as if he just woke up.
All right, so the kids are in school, and I'm ready to act my ass off. Let's do this.
Veronica flips a waffle onto a plate and sets it down in front of Vinny.
Wait, hold up. Are we even sure about this plan yet?
What's there not to be sure about?
Veronica places another plate of waffles down, this time in front of Dan. She leans on the counter, arms crossed.
Everything. My part is tiny. I'm just watching what she's doing while you guys get to play Mission Impossible. My role's boring as hell.
April grabs a mug of coffee and sits down next to Vinny.
It's not boring, Veronica. You're there to see how she acts around me and the staff. I'm undercover waitressing, and you need to make sure her charitable kindness is on full display.
Vinny leans back in his chair, smirking.
And if it's not?
Veronica slides Vinny a cup of tea with a sarcastic grin.
Then I don't need to move on to the next step, which is actually writing the song with her.
Dan perks up, taking a sip of his coffee.
Well, speaking of that, my guy at the FBI says they need a little more time, but whatever he finds might be juicy.
Veronica raises an eyebrow, setting Dylan's coffee in front of him.
And what are you doing during all this?
Dan leans back, a sly smile spreading across his face.
I've got the key card to her hotel and the password to her laptop, which she'll conveniently leave behind. I'll be digging through her files to see what she's hiding.
April's jaw drops.
How the hell did you get that info? He knows a guy at the FBI, no piggy. Well, all right, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Vinny leans forward, his tone shifting to serious.
Our biggest concern is making sure this guy doesn't give anything away before we've got what we need. No hero stunts, okay?
I won't do anything stupid. Lillian suddenly appears in the doorway, smirking. She walks over to the group.
Yesterday, we were walking by the river. He touched my hand, panicked, and jumped straight into the water.
Everyone bursts into laughter. Dylan's face turns red as he glares playfully at Lillian.
All right. If you're just here to embarrass me, maybe I don't want you here. Are you sure?
Dylan puts a hand over his heart, mock pleading.
No, please. Never leave me. I need you.
The room erupts in laughter again. Lillian pats him on the head.
He's such a girl without me.
Dan laughs, raising his coffee mug.
That's something we can all agree on.
April rolls her eyes, pointing at Dylan's sweatshirt.
And before you say anything else, look at your sweatshirt. It's pink.
Dylan looks down, defensively puffing out his chest.
I'm a rock star. I can get away with wearing pink.
Vinny shakes his head, smirking.
Nobody, you are a girl. Hang on. What about you, Lillian? What's your plan? I'll preoccupied. I have a board meeting somewhere.
You own a company? Since when?
Lillian smirks, crossing her arms confidently.
We own a company, and since forever.
Which company is that again? Lillian winks, giving him a playful shove as she walks past.
Figure it out, Sherlock. You'll find out once this mess is wrapped up.
Dylan watches her with a bewildered smile as she exits the room, leaving him intrigued.
So Vinny's tailing her, making sure she doesn't get back to the hotel before Dan's done snooping, right?
April nods, holding back a grin.
Exactly. You can't take on any other jobs, Mom.
Veronica leans back in her chair, dramatically sighing.
Well, this just sucks, doesn't it?
Everyone cracks up again as they prepare for the mission. The restaurant has a modest, rustic charm. Exposed brick walls and simple wooden tables lend it a casual, cozy vibe. Louise Johnson strides in, exuding an air of entitlement. Dylan sits at a table, his AirPod discreetly tucked in his ear. He appears calm, but tension flickers in his eyes as Vinny's voice crackles through his earpiece.
Well, look who it is. Mr. Number One hits every year for the last 6 years.
It's a pleasure to see you, Louise.
Louise glances around the restaurant, wrinkling her nose.
I think Mr. Moneybags would book us somewhere more lavish than this poorly decorated diner. That's a strike, Dylan.
April, perched on a stool, watches the scene unfold on a tablet streaming live from a hidden camera. She speaks into her own earpiece.
I agree, but to be fair, we could spruce up this place a little ourselves. Keep talking and I'll disown ya. Can we all focus, please?
Dylan keeps his composure, flashing Louise a practiced smile. Well, you're looking well, Louise.
I just spent 3 weeks in Barbados. Lush. I'd recommend it, but you don't seem like the type who knows how to relax.
The sun shines brightly on a busy street bustling with cars and pedestrians. A sleek black sedan pulls up in front of a tall office building with reflective glass windows. Lillian steps out of the car, dressed sharply in a tailor suit. Sunglasses perched on her head. Her demeanor is calm but focused as she checks her watch and takes a deep breath. She glances up at the imposing building, recognizing it as the headquarters of a charity she has ties to, but hasn't visited in years. She adjusts her suit jacket, tucking away any lingering hesitation, and strides confidently towards the entrance. Lillian approaches the revolving glass doors, nodding at the doorman who greets her with a polite smile. She enters the building, the sound of her heels clicking on the marble floor echoing through the spacious lobby. Lillian makes her way to the elevator, pressing the button for the top floor. As she waits, her phone vibrates in her hand. Glances at the screen. It's a message from Dylan. Are you sure you got this? We're going in soon. She smirks to herself, typing a quick reply.
Trust me, I've got these. Focus on your part.
The elevator doors slide open, and Lillian steps inside. As the doors close, her expression becomes steely. She knows what's at stake. Lillian steps out of the elevator into the bustling office. Employees work diligently at their desks, but some glance up as Lillian walks by, recognizing her. The atmosphere is serious, with the weight of her presence felt by all. She reaches a large wooden door marked Boardroom and pushes it open. Inside, a group of board members, suits and sharp faces, sit around a large conference table. On the wall, a large screen is mounted, displaying a live feed of Vinny's restaurant, where Dylan and the others are executing their part of the plan. The board members murmur amongst themselves, watching the scene unfold with growing curiosity.
Oh, Lillian, right on time. We're just getting started.
Perfect. Let's make sure everything runs smoothly. This needs to end today.
She takes her seat, crossing her legs, exuding authority. The board members quiet down as she settles in, and their eyes flicker between her and the screen. The live feed shows Dylan sitting across from Louise in Vinny's restaurant.
We're watching this unfold live.
Yes, Dylan's doing his part right now. We need to catch her in the act. Louise isn't the type to leave loose ends unless we corner her.
The camera shows Louise becoming visibly frustrated with Dylan. Tension in the room rises as the conversation on screen grows more heated. Lillian watches closely, her eyes never leaving the screen.
I'm still not liking this woman.
Join the club.
What was that?
Oh, it was nothing. Louise, did you bring those financial reports we discussed? The ones about the songs I've written with you. I need to review them before agreeing to any new arrangements. Louise waves her hand dismissively, her voice airy.
Oh, about those. I've been so busy with all the flying and meetings, I couldn't print them out. Sorry. We got a printer in the back. Ask her if she wants to print them now.
Oh, that's no problem. We got a printer here. You can log in and print them now if you like. Louise's eyes flicker with panic for a second, then she recovers.
Oh, I don't have the passwords for my account. Sorry. She's failing, Dylan.
Lying through her teeth.
All right, Dylan. Time for part 2 of the plan. Leave your phone and head to the bathroom. See if she tries to snoop.
What's that going to prove?
We need to know if we can trust her. If she grabs your phone, there's another strike.
Don't worry, I've got eyes on her. She won't get away with anything. Dylan glances at his phone as though checking messages, then casually places it on the table. Order anything you'd like. I'll be right back. I need the restroom. He gets up, leaving his phone behind, and walks out of sight. Louise waits a moment, then her gaze locks onto the phone. She hesitates before quickly snatching it and trying to unlock it. April and Veronica's eyes widen as they watch Louise's actions on the screen.
She's trying to unlock it.
Oh, we're watching her like hawks.
Sneaky, that's another strike.
After fumbling with it and failing to unlock the phone, Louise puts it back down, feigning innocence. All right, Dylan, we need you back here. She gave up. Coming. Is there a fire I don't know about? Hang on, ignore that. There is. Dylan reappears from the restroom, casually walking back to the table. The tension simmers just below the surface. Lillian and the board members are seated, watching the events. What's our role in this?
You'll be voting to remove Louise from her position once we present the evidence. The board needs to be unified. After today, she will no longer have any influence here. She thought she could play us all.
She leans back in her chair, her voice dripping with confidence.
But she forgot one thing. I always know how to play the long game.
The board members exchange glances, nodding in agreement, understanding that Lillian's plan is already in motion. On the screen, the feed continues, showing Dylan's subtle movements, the tension escalating as Louise unknowingly inches closer to her downfall.
Now let's see how she likes playing against the house.
The camera zooms in as Louise becomes agitated, and Lillian's phone vibrates again. She picks it up, briefly glancing at another message from Veronica.
I'll say it. She's about to make her move. It is time.
The room holds its collective breath as the final phase of the plan unfolds on screen, tension thick in the air.
If you're enjoying this episode of The Amazing Dylan Hendrix, don't forget to subscribe to That Love podcast on your favorite listening platform. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Dylan returns to the table, sitting down, eyes slightly narrowed as he assesses Louise. She leans back, crossing her arms with a smug smile.
So, about business. It's that time of the year again. We're due for another song to save our orphanages. Have you written any smash hits for us?
No.
Can I ask why not?
Because my life's been tough lately and you haven't even asked how I'm doing. Louise waves his words away dismissively.
We'll get to that. Dylan, we need to keep those orphanages alive. Without a steady stream of income, they'll shut down.
And you'll still be able to vacation in Barbados, I'm sure. Louise's smile vanishes. Her eyes hardening, she leans in, voice low and cold.
Look, punk. We need that money. This isn't me asking, it's me insisting. She's up to something, guys. She knew he'd turn her down. She's got a backup plan. Play this carefully, Dylan.
Dylan shifts in his seat, crossing his arms defiantly. You can insist all you like, but I'm not giving you a cent without doing my due diligence on you. Louise pauses, the air between them growing tense. Then, slowly, she pulls out her phone, tapping the screen a few times before sliding it across the table towards Dylan. Glances at the screen, it's photos. Images of Jessica, his ex-fiancée, bruised and battered.
Here's how we're going to play this. You'll give me the song and the money I need, or I'll leak these photos to the press, along with a story about how you've been battering your ex-wife.
No one will believe that. Louise leans forward, her smile tight and predatory.
No one will believe the head of an orphanage charity? Someone who listened to poor Jessica confide in me as she came to me broken and bruised? I don't think so. I'd play this smart if I were you. Maybe the friends whispering in your ear can help you figure out your next move.
Dylan's jaw clenches, his face remains neutral.
You've got 24 hours to decide, or I start leaking everything to the press. She's pushing hard, man. This is bad. Dylan, we need to regroup. Don't act rash.
Dylan leans back in his chair, staring Louise down. We'll see about that. Louise stands, fixing her coat and giving him one last smirk before walking away. Dylan watches her go, the restaurant falling into a tense silence. He reaches for his phone, eyes narrowing as he texts someone, setting the next steps into motion. Vinny and Dan enter the dimly lit control room, their footsteps soft on the wooden floor. They see Dylan sitting on the couch, his head hanging low, his face etched with concern. Veronica and April are seated at the dining table, exchanging worried glances, their attention focused on Dylan. My career's over.
You done something to suggest it's over?
No, but you know how these things go. One bad rumor, one false accusation, it sticks to you like glue. No matter where you go, it follows. Lillian enters the room, moving with purpose, her eyes and face steely with determination.
She's a lying little bitch.
Thanks, but that's not going to help me right now.
Dylan, my FBI guy did a thorough background check on you. Spoke to your former staff, bandmates, even your ex-girlfriends, including Jessica. Not a single one had anything bad to say. No history of violence or nothing. Plus, after hours of combing through Louise's files and photos, we found no evidence linking you to any abuse. We're clear.
Dylan shakes his head, staring at the floor, frustration boiling over. You're not listening. Doesn't matter if it's not true. Once it's out there, people won't care about the facts. They only care about tearing me down. Make sure I never produce anything again. Lillian's phone rings. She steps away from the group to take the call, pacing as she talks. We have a solid plan to deal with her. Sometimes it works. Something that'll shut her down for good. Yeah, Lillian's been on the case all day. She figured things could go south with Louise, so she had a backup plan ready to deal with her. Well, did it work? Lillian ends her call and turns back to the group, a huge smile spreading across her face. Before she can speak, the door slams open and Louise storms in, eyes wild with fury. You son of a bitch! Hello, Louise. You screwed me over. Louise lunges at Lillian, but Dan quickly steps in, holding her back.
You calm down.
You got the board to vote me out of my company. You lied, told them I was blackmailing you, and now I'm out of my own company.
Dylan stands up, slowly walking towards Louise. I'm pretty sure we didn't lie, Louise. Louise, you forget who's been in this man's corner his entire life. You forget the woman who has always stood by him, fought with him, and for him. Hi, I'm that bitch. Louise's eyes narrow, her voice trembling. How did you even?
while you were here making threats at lunch. I was at your company's head office. We had a recording device on Dylan, cameras trained on you. We captured every word you said, and with evidence provided by one of my many FBI friends, we uncovered that you've been embezzling funds from your own company and spreading malicious lies. And let me remind you, Dylan and I, we have a seat on that board. That was part of the deal when we helped you set up the company and wrote those songs for you.
Veronica stands, arms crossed, her voice calm but sharp.
Long story short, Louise, you're fired. Anything you say from now on will just sound like a bitter woman who's lost it all. The door's right behind you. Bye-bye.
Louise stands there, her face crumbling, tears forming in her eyes as the reality of her situation sinks in.
I have a kid. No, you don't. You fucking bitch!
She lunges at Lillian again, but this time both Dylan and Dan step in, pulling her away before she can do any damage. Louise sobs as they escort her out of the room.
Well done, Lillian. You're quite the monster. Remind me never to get on your bad side. Oh, you already know.
Veronica shudders, leaning closer to April.
Honey, she terrifies me. Same. I think I need to keep some distance from her.
Okay, bye. April jumps up, making a quick exit. Lillian laughs again, amused.
Oh, what's that, honey? Yeah, I'll join you.
Veronica follows April, walking gingerly, glancing back nervously at Lillian's mischievous laughter echoes through the room. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Amazing Dylan Hendrix. All the characters are voiced by me, Emerson Peary. The show was written, produced, and edited by Joao Nasita. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with family and friends and make sure to subscribe to That Love Podcast wherever you listen. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day wherever you are.